November 13th, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. So this is how I drew up the charts today. About the lines, looks like it is a leg down, two legs up, another big leg down, kind of a shallow sideways bearish biased sell-off, another sell-off, and then pretty much just a choppy sideways. Prices dropped quite a bit because it went from 68.92 down to 67.46. This is just under 150 points, which is pretty big. And this is how I drew up the charts today. I did take one trade early on right here. It was profitable. And then I was able to identify a couple other trades here, but later on, there weren't as many trades. So I'm going to get into the charts right now. No economic data really moved anything. So prices look like they moved up a few legs, maybe three legs, hit the highs. This is going to be the high of day in the pre-market. Sells off, kind of bounces, moves sideways, sells off again, and then opens right about here. Opens right about here, and it creates a new low, first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short, but this is very early in the day. This is just like the first 11 seconds, so not even a really decent setup because this signal bar isn't very good. Prices moved down. So at this point, I thought there was one touch, two touch, three touch confirmation, one touch, two touch. So although I couldn't quite get a channel to fit pretty well in here, because this one, something like this is cutting through and it's already breaking out, then you try to extend it to something like this. So I was thinking of something like this at one time. Kind of confirms. Then I have a new low here. It's a first entry short pullback, second entry short. Second entry short, this is the signal bar, confirmed second entry short. I actually like this trade. This is a breakout of this red down channel. I had three touch confirmations, so I'm expecting a test of the low. I entered right at the lows here and went for a 2-point scalp because there's enough room for at least 2 points and was able to get it. And prices continue moving down. So it's a break of this red down channel. This transparent one, I'm not really sure is in play. So I ended up deleting it or removing it. I was thinking this gray one might be in play because it was one touch, two touch, and low sides one touch, two touch. So I had it kind of drawn as such, and I was playing on the idea that it might, if it gets to the high side or low side of this gray down channel, there might be some trades there. Prices move down. It's just very congested, a very clear bearish sell-off. Only first entries here. Unfortunate because this would have been fantastic, and I didn't trade a runner today. But if I did trade a runner, I imagine I might have gotten stopped out probably by this candle here. Prices bounce, hits the high side. So I'm watching really carefully for potential rejection right off of here. It's a new low, first entry short, pullback. You have a potential second entry short here, and then you have a confirmed second entry short. So I thought this is a possible trade. It looks like it's also two legs up from the bottom of this red down channel. Looking for a lower high confirmation to try to just still get in on this trade, but you don't get it. It kind of bounces and starts moving up. Looks like it's breaking out of this red down channel now. So I drew this blue up channel, a little bit tighter, something like this. There's a failed breakout here, but it still keeps going up. It's a new high, first entry long, ended up dragging it up to here. First entry long pullback, potential second entry long. I thought this was a possible trade. It's bounce off this blue channel support because it's clearly one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch. Looks like it was two legs down, decent signal bar. EMA is cutting right through the center of it, but I thought this is probably strong enough at least for a quick 1-point scalp. Prices move up. So it's clearly in this range now. Excuse me, not range, up channel. It's getting congested, starts breaking, falling down. I'm thinking it's going to test the low of this red or gray down channel. Bounces, it starts moving up this orange up channel. Break, I'm expecting a test the high. Pushes up to the high. Moves up this shallow channel. I try to make something fit, but nothing really quite looked like it matched. So I just treated them as smaller little channels here. And I was just extra cautious. New high, first entry long, pull back. Looks like a second entry long here, but a second entry long that's about to fail because it's first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long is confirmed here, but sellers were able to push it all the way back down. Then you do have a confirmed failure, but nothing I thought was a safe trade. When this does form and close, I drew this orange down channel, had it slightly tighter, right about here. I'm looking for a lower high confirmation. Technically, you have a lower high here, but then you have an inside bar follow through, and it never triggered a bar below this. So any trade that I thought was going to take, I abandoned at this point because I'm just going to wait now. Which is down. Break of the orange down channel is tested low. Looks like this blue down channel might be in play. I actually had it slightly tighter initially, something to this. Then it breaks out. I'm looking for a reversal, not a reversal, excuse me, a failed breakout on this side to have a corresponding breakout on this side. I'm going to normalize this. Bounces and it keeps moving down. So it didn't make it to the other side, so I extended or widened the channel now. Something to this. So now it looks like there was no overshoot here. Helps describe what's going on a little bit better. The new low, first entry short, pullback. I saw this in real time, but there's no trade setup though. I mean, there's nothing I could really say is a setup. It's one touch, two touch, technically a third touch, but this is a bad signal bar. It's bullish. But you do have a first entry short, second entry short. So now I'm looking for a lower high. You technically get a lower high here, but I didn't like it because there's not much room to this low of day. So I didn't even mark it. Pops around. It would have worked though. It's to the low side. You have a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short, but it runs into the same problem where you don't really have that much room before you hitting the lows. So you'd be selling into the lows. In this case, on a day like this, it does work. So first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short. It's a bad signal bar. I'm not really that excited to take a trade on a short on this signal bar. The follow through looks pretty good, but now I'm wondering if the EMA might come into play. So left it alone. Kind of pushes up, drew this orange up channel, thinking there was a break, might test the high, but more likely it's going to come down and test the lows of this blue down channel. So here it actually does test the low, break of the green down channel, test the low, break of the blue down channel has moved up and tested the low. So I'm thinking all down pressure might have played out. Things are bouncing. So first entry short, it's pretty congested here. I do see a second entry short here. It looks like it's two legs up from the bottom, but since the overall bearish bias is coming down, the blue channel technically has tested the low, the green has tested the low, but I'm wondering if the sell-off is completed because I also thought there was a one big leg down here, and I was expecting a potential completion of a measured move, potentially all the way down here, although it's bottoming out and it's kind of plateauing. I saw this as maybe a developing range, two legs up. It looks like there's enough momentum to push down for a quick 1-point scalp. But here I was actually thinking of 2-point scalp. This would have worked for a 2-point scalp. It's low, one touch, two touch. Technically, it didn't touch, but it looks like it's at least trading within this range. The failed breakout here comes down. It creates a failed breakout on this side. Prices are moving back up. So now there's a failed breakout on this side, failed breakout on this side. I'm expecting a move to the highs of this range. You have a new low, first entry short, pull back. You have a second entry short, new high, first entry long, pull back. You have a second entry long right here and potentially a higher low. So it all depends on what the next candle is going to do. And I thought there was a possible trade right here and enough for a 2-point scalp because this is a really strong signal bar. So you enter here and this candle likely would have given you the scalp right before you have to worry about any potential resistance of this top of this trading range. Prices move up, switches back down, first entry long, pull back, normalize this guy. Technically have a second entry long, but it's a bad signal bar, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. To break this green down channel, test the low, might also be moving down on this yellow down channel. Starts moving sideways. First entry short, pull back, second entry short, it's a bad signal bar. I drew this green up channel, but I wasn't a big fan because Prices are just really wide. It could also be seen as a potential sideways trading range. But this is just kind of really choppy, really noisy trading right now. I saw this as a second entry long triple test because I'm not of a range yet because I don't know if the range is established, but clearly a support area because it's one touch, two touch, three touch, new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long on the technical count. The reason I call it an almost trade is besides the triple test, this looks like it was one leg down here. That's the first leg up. Pullback, this could be the second leg up. Then this would be a third leg, but technical count is two. I just didn't like this alternating colors with candles side by side of relatively the same size. So I called an almost trade. Prices move up. I was looking for a higher low, but unfortunately, you don't get a higher low. This would be your higher low, but it's really far from the setup. It's a wrong colored candle. Prices move up to the high side. Looks like it's two legs up now, two legs up from the bottom. So I just counted, reset the count, but visual one leg up, pullback, second leg up, pushes down. There's nothing to justify that this is going to be the top of the range at this point. It was much later that I ended up drawing this. So you have a new high, localized new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, but it also looks like it's just one leg down. It's a first entry long here, pullback. This looks like a stronger second entry long, better setup, better trade, and a decent signal bar. Here the EMA doesn't really come into play because prices are moving both above and below it. So if you did enter, you'd be in the trade right here. This candle likely would have given you the 2-point scalp. Prices then move up. Starts moving up this more a gradual orange up channel, and it does test the high. So I'm thinking if this confirms and prices move back down, that this blue range is valid. So it does push up, potential fail breakout here. Hits a peak and starts moving back down. So I thought there's a fail breakout here. I'm expecting a fail breakout on the low side. Break of the green down channel, pushes back up, pushes down. So it looks like it's one leg down, pullback, second leg, but it's coming back down. So this is really interesting now. I'm not really going to be looking to go long just yet because it has a fail breakout on this side. I'm looking for a corresponding fail breakout on the low side. It struggles, it pushes up, bounces. So it's like a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. Second entry short, I thought this is a possible trade, but you do have to be kind of trusting the read that this fail breakout is going to create a fail breakout on this side, because I wasn't sure if this was considered a good enough fail breakout with prices potentially moving all the way back out. But it looks like it's one leg down, one leg up, pullback, second leg. If this signal bar had only closed at the low, then I think it would have been a stronger trade. The fact that it was pushed all the way back up to close right here, that meant bulls still had enough power to push it back up. So although it's a possible trade, I just didn't really like it as much. By the time this one opens and closes, I'm not even looking for a lower high necessarily because I'm not too sure if this is going to resolve by going back up to the high side. But it doesn't, breaks out and continues downwards. And then here it just gets noisy again because you have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but it also seems like a visual first entry short. This gets noisy again. When it touches here, I created this trend line coming down. I turned it into loose channel down here, but it wasn't colored in at the time because I don't have enough confirmations to trust this gray down channel at this point. Prices move down and just continue selling off. So I looked to the left and I noticed it's a very bearish day. Was there any kind of larger channel that I could have found? Not really, because this doesn't touch too much to offer really any good key entry points. I mean, you clearly already know that things are selling off, but it didn't really sell off and hit touch points that confirm too much because there's really only two touch confirmations and one here. What I did notice was it made the measure move, but it kept going. So I wasn't really thinking it was going to bounce now. I was thinking it's just kind of be a bearish sell-off day. So sells off. I was thinking maybe I'm in this orange down channel, but I'm not the biggest fan of it because only one touch, two touch. It was a little bit tighter initially. There's a breakout here. Continues downwards. So then I didn't really treat this as an overshoot. I kind of dragged it out to encapsulate it. No clean second entries right now. You have a new low, first entry short. You have potentially a second entry short right here. but it's a bad signal bar. It happens to be the third touch confirmation of this gray down channel right now. But since the signal bar isn't that great, I want to look for a lower high. Here you finally get a lower high. This gray down channel had an overshoot, kind of created a corresponding overshoot here. All indications say that probably the bearish momentum is going to continue. This engulfed this guy, made kind of a double top. I was kind of in between thinking whether it's an actual trade or an almost trade. What did hold me back was the EMA might start acting as support. And I drew this as a resistance up here, and I put this actually a little lower here, wondering if I'm in a range. If I'm in a range, there is just enough for a 2-point scalp, but I wasn't too sure, so I left it alone. So if I entered here, I'd be sitting in this. My stop would be above these two double bars. Sitting through this would have been agonizing. And then watching this play out, if I was still in the trade taking a short right here, I think I would have tried to just get out break even after this much time. Here, finally, you would have gotten out. Prices then continue moving. Just gets kind of noisy. This low side pushes up on this orange up channel. Pushes up one time. Looks like it's two. First entry short, second entry short, kind of a neutral signal bar. Whether this resistance is actually in play or not, it's a little ambiguous. Pushes up and out, moves up this green up channel. It's new high, first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long here. It's a bad signal bar. Prices then push down. Moves in this yellow down channel, which I found much later. But there was no real second entries that I felt safe on because the signal bars are just not the best. They're kind of neutral. Pushes all the way down. There's a fail breakout here. Pushes up. Break of the pink up channel is tested once, tested twice. Now it looks like it's coming back down. This would be your second entry short, but it's right at the EMA. Things are just a little confusing. Moves down. Pushes up. Hits sideways consolidation. Again, EMA isn't really acting in such a way that's really helpful to use as key entry points. Moves down to this red down channel, kind of creates this bottom confirmation, starts pushing up. I did find this second entry long, but it's kind of too late in the day. It does bounce off this orange up channel support. The range was actually a little tighter initially. It just didn't, if it came down and touched the EMA, I think it would have been a good trade. But considering the time of day, considering previous price action been kind of noisy, I just left it alone. Prices then continue moving up. It's a fail breakout on this side. Pushes down, kind of moves sideways again. New low, first entry short, second entry short. Hard to take this trade just because it never broke above and then it flushes down. Starts moving. I think we might be in this red transparent down channel. New low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. Unfortunately, it's right above the EMA. The way I have things drawn, if it was a little bit more like this, maybe there's a trade, but I would rather have this closed near the low instead of having this tiny little stem here. But then prices move sideways and moves into the close. So not the most obvious trading today. There were these big swings. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find nice entries to get in on. I did take one trade, which is a little earlier than I usually do, and was profitable. And to be honest, I wasn't as focused today to kind of capture or take advantage of some of these trades. So hopefully that was helpful.